Thousands of years ago, humans fought battles using swords, arrows, and spears. But everything changed when one simple thing was discovered: gunpowder.
Now for my greatest invention.
It started in ancient China and slowly spread across the world. That powder gave birth to something that would shape wars, empires, and even everyday life: guns. From early fire-spewing sticks to today's smart automatic weapons, the evolution of guns is a journey of power, technology, and survival. In this video, we'll explore how guns started, how they changed over time, and how they continue to shape our world today. Before guns ever existed, humans were already experts at fighting. They used swords, bows and arrows, spears, and catapults. These weapons were made from stone, bronze, and later steel. Battles were fought face to face, and it often took years of training to become a skilled warrior. Around 9th century China, something happened that changed the world forever. Gunpowder was invented. Historians believe Chinese alchemists were trying to make a potion for eternal life. Instead, they accidentally mixed sulfur, saltpeter, and charcoal, and discovered a powder that exploded when lit. This was the beginning of a revolution. At first, gunpowder was used for fireworks and signals during wars. But soon, people realized it could be used to create weapons more powerful than any sword or spear. This discovery would eventually give birth to guns. The first real ancestors of guns were called fire lances. These were used by Chinese soldiers in the 10th century. A fire lance was basically a bamboo tube, filled with gunpowder and attached to a spear. When lit, it would shoot fire and smoke at the enemy. Later, small pieces of metal or sharp objects were added into the tube. When the fire lance exploded, it would also shoot out these deadly projectiles. This turned the weapon into an early kind of gun. As time passed, fire lances evolved. Bamboo was replaced with metal. The designs became more advanced. By the 13th and 14th centuries, these weapons had spread to the Middle East and Europe through the Silk Road. The Age of Hand. Cannons was about to begin. The hand cannon is often considered the first true gun. It looked like a small metal tube with a hole in the back. A soldier would fill it with gunpowder and a metal ball, then light the powder through the hole using a burning match. The ball would shoot out, sometimes with deadly force. These early guns were not very accurate, and they were slow to reload. But they had one big advantage. They could punch through armor. Suddenly, knights in heavy metal suits were no longer unstoppable. Hand cannons were used in battles by the 14th century in Europe and Asia. But they were hard to aim and dangerous to use. Still, they were the beginning of something much bigger. In the 15th century, a major improvement was made: the matchlock mechanism. This was the first gun with a trigger. The matchlock gun had a curved arm called a serpentine. A burning rope, called a slow match, was attached to it. When the shooter pulled the trigger, the serpentine dropped the burning rope into the gunpowder, firing the gun. Now, soldiers could fire their weapons more easily and aim better. Matchlocks became popular in Europe, the Middle East, and Japan. Famous armies like the Ottoman Janissaries and Japanese samurai began using them. Still, these guns had problems. The slow match could go out in the rain, and lighting the gun took time. But it was a step forward. In the 1600s, a new technology changed guns again: the flintlock. These guns used a piece of flint stone and a steel plate to create sparks. When the trigger was pulled, the flint hit the steel, making a spark that lit the gunpowder. Flintlock guns were faster, more reliable, and easier to use than matchlocks. They didn't need a burning rope, and they worked better in bad weather. For the next 200 years, flintlocks were the most common guns in the world. They were used in famous battles like the American Revolution, Napoleonic Wars, and many colonial wars. But they were still slow to reload. A trained soldier could fire 3 to 4 shots per minute at best. The world was ready for something even better. By the early 1800s, the biggest problem with guns was still the same. They were too slow. After every shot, the shooter had to reload powder, a ball, and a primer. This took a lot of time and often cost soldiers their lives in battle. Then came the invention of the repeating gun, a gun that could fire more than once without needing to be reloaded each time. One of the first major breakthroughs was the revolver, invented by Samuel Colt in 1836. The Colt revolver had a rotating cylinder that held multiple bullets. After each shot, the cylinder turned automatically to the next round. This meant the shooter could fire 5 or 6 times quickly, before needing to reload. The revolver became extremely popular, especially in the American Wild West, where cowboys, lawmen, and outlaws all used them. Another major improvement was the lever-action rifle, like the famous Winchester rifle. These guns had a lever under the trigger. By pulling the lever, the shooter could load the next bullet into the chamber. This allowed for fast and smooth firing, perfect for hunting, war, and survival. Repeaters and revolvers gave people more firepower than ever before. It was now possible for one person to fire several shots in just a few seconds, a huge leap from the slow, single-shot flintlock guns. In the late 1800s, inventors took gun technology even further. What if a gun could fire bullets continuously, as long as you held the trigger? Enter the machine gun, a weapon that could fire dozens, even hundreds of bullets in 1 minute. The first true machine gun was the Maxim gun, invented in 1884 by Hiram Maxim. It used the energy from each shot to load the next one. No hand loading or levers were needed. Soldiers just had to aim and pull the trigger. During World War I, machine guns became deadly tools of war. Entire fields were filled with trenches, and soldiers tried to cross while enemy machine guns fired thousands of bullets at them. It changed the way wars were fought. Battles were no longer just about courage. They were about firepower. Later came the Gatling gun, Browning machine guns, and submachine guns like the Thompson, also known as the Tommy gun. These weapons were smaller and could be carried by one man, making them useful for both war and crime. Machine guns had turned the gun from a personal weapon into a weapon of mass warfare. Armies could now control entire areas with just a few well-placed gunners. By the mid-1900s, technology had made guns more advanced, more deadly, and more specialized. Different types of guns were designed for different jobs. One of the most famous modern guns is the AK-47, invented by Mikhail Kalashnikov in the Soviet Union. It's a type of assault rifle. Fast, strong, simple, and reliable. The AK-47 became the most used gun in the world, especially in military and guerrilla warfare. It's cheap, easy to repair, and deadly. On the other side, the M16 rifle, used by American forces, became its biggest rival. It was lighter and more accurate than the AK-47. Both guns are still in use, today in many parts of the world. Then there are sniper rifles, long-range guns used to shoot targets from far away with high accuracy. Snipers can take out a single target from over a kilometer away, often with just one shot. Shotguns are another powerful weapon, designed for short range and maximum damage. They're used in hunting, police work, and home defense. Instead of a single bullet, shotguns fire a spray of small metal balls called pellets. Modern guns also include semi-automatic pistols, used by police, soldiers, and civilians for self-defense. These can fire one shot with each trigger pull and reload automatically. Today's guns are faster, lighter, and more deadly than ever before. In the 21st century, guns started becoming smart. Just like phones and cars, weapons are now being upgraded with technology like biometrics, GPS, AI, and digital locks. Smart guns are designed to only fire when held by an authorized user. They may use fingerprint scanners or RFID chips to verify identity. This technology is meant to stop criminals or children from using someone else's gun. Some companies are also developing laser-guided bullets and AI-assisted targeting systems, which help the shooter aim more accurately using sensors and cameras. In the military, drones can carry machine guns or launch attacks from the sky, controlled by humans far away. There are even robotic gun systems, like the Swords robot used by the U.S. Army, which can be equipped with automatic rifles and controlled remotely on the battlefield. We're also seeing the rise of 3D printed guns, which can be made at home using a printer and plastic materials. This has created legal and ethical problems, since these guns are hard to trace and don't show up on metal detectors. With the help of AI and futuristic materials, some scientists are working on guns that don't use traditional bullets at all. Instead, they use energy beams, electromagnetic force, railguns, or sound waves. It sounds like science fiction, but it may soon be reality. Guns have given humans power to protect, to fight, to hunt, and to rule. But they have also brought pain, fear, and destruction. Every year, thousands of people die in shootings, wars, or violent crimes. In many places, guns are too easy to get. In others, people feel unsafe without one. This has created a global debate. Are guns protecting people or harming society? Some say that guns are just tools. They depend on who is using them. Others argue that the more guns there are, the more danger we face. Many countries have created gun control laws to prevent violence, like background checks, weapon bans, or limits on ammo. But in some places, gun culture is so strong that changing the laws is very difficult. There are also questions about the future. Should robots be allowed to shoot? What if AI decides who to kill? Can smart guns be hacked? And most importantly, how do we balance freedom with safety? Guns have come a long way, from bamboo fire tubes to smart weapons with facial recognition. But in the end, the most important part of any gun is the human finger on the trigger. Subscribe for more videos on evolution.